to What We Like. We're your hosts, Cindy and Sonia.
Join us each week as we discuss the world of adulthood with some ratchet recap and buzz sessions.
Should be petty because I have a petty spirit. So if my petty spirit is live and well,
I definitely recommend.
Because I feel like it's my page.
Right.
And I should be able to post what I want to post.
I live my life unapologetically. I do. Hey, Cindy.
hey Sonia,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I have a few days off. I'm taking off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I'll be back in on Thursday. So I'm a little excited about that.
I know. So do you have any big plans? Or you just going to use it as some relaxation, self-care kind of thing?
Just relaxing. I have a massage scheduled on Tuesday, but I told you before I had to take the days that I brought over from 2018, so I'm using those up, and I'll be done with that, and I'll be starting my 2019 with a bang.
I know.
Hey,
3 days off is good.
it is, and it was kind of weird because it's like I'm going back on a Thursday, which I never do, but
Going back on a Thursday is not that bad. You go back on a Thursday, you have 2 days, and then boom, you're off again.
yeah, that is one thing to look forward to. Before we get into it, I did have a quick thing to run by you to get your opinion. Something I either saw or read somewhere this week on social media. And there was a question. Is there a difference between cheating and disrespectfully cheating?
Okay. So to me, whether you do it disrespectfully or you do it in a respectful manner or you're sweet and kind about it, all of it is cheating to me.
At the end of the day, right, that's what it is. But how can one do it respectfully? Tell me that.
Okay, so I saw on the show Love and Marriage in South Carolina, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. They have a reality show now, and they talked about the guy was disrespectful when he cheated on her. And basically, I guess because the side chick started calling at night and, he was going out, like actually dating his side chick, like, taking her out and stuff. And so they were saying that was disrespectful. He was cheating disrespectfully. But to me, the mere fact that you're cheating is disrespectful. Like, it's disrespectful to not only me and you in our relationship, but everybody who's connected to us, because that kind of stuff affects everybody who's connected to us. If we have friends together, and if I'm close to your family or you're close to my family, then that gets the family mad at you. But now if I take you back, now it's weird between you and the family. Like, it's just
I think it's a lot. When I heard it, my first thought was, if you're saying disrespectful, then the other side of that is then one would be respectful when they do it.
Right.
So then I go back to, if you're respectful when you cheat, does that mean it's okay? So I thought that was kind of odd, because you're saying, is there a difference between cheating and disrespectfully cheating? Does that mean if you're being respectful with your cheatation, it's okay?
Right.
I think not. That was a weird one for me. So I was like, okay, let's go over that one a little bit, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense.
At the end of the day, cheating is cheating, and you can't get any right in there. There's no positivity in that. So to try to distinguish between whether or not it is respectful, well, they didn't say respectful, but in my mind, if you say disrespectful, the other side of that is going to be respectful, and there's no way to respectfully cheat.
Not for me. Like, just the mere fact that you cheating is disrespectful. So anything after that, you're just piling on to the disrespect. But just the mere fact that you're cheating is disrespectful. Whether she calls at night or she respects the boundaries and she only calls you during the day when you're at work, you're still cheating. Like, it doesn't matter what time of the day, you're still cheating. So to me, I was like, okay, it's just all disrespectful. Yeah.
I agree. So our answer to that question is no. There's no there's no difference. Cheating is wrong.
Right. Cheating bad.
Okay. Okay. Let's jump into this week's topic. We are going to discuss a clip that's been circulating on social media for the last, I think, week or so. And it is that clip of an interview that Nikki Giovanni did back in the day. She was talking to James Baldwin. I got that right?
Right. Not Alex.
And right. And the subject matter came up is, what is the subject matter?
Give me that same energy that you know.
Okay, so she's basically doing this interview where she is saying that she wants her significant other to give her the same energy they're giving the man in the streets. And I don't mean man literally. I just mean when you're out and about, and normally when we're out and about, we're putting on our best face. We're putting the best of us out there. And sometimes when we come home, we take that off and the loved ones get the worst of us. So we're going to delve into that conversation. But before we do, here is the clip of Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. Take a listen.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me. And you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. What Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
All right, I accept that.
Of course you lie to me. Because I don't even want to care. What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat you.
You must. You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell because I love you. I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man?
That was pretty deep.
That was. And I don't know, I was kind of conflicted about it because I understand what she's saying. Like, give me that same energy that you give the man at work, and you're smiling and you're happy and you muscle through it with them. Come home and give me that same energy. But then do you want me to also be honest with you? So aren't you the one that I come home and say, hey, I had a really crappy day at work and here's why and blah, blah, blah. So I am giving you the, woe is me, Cindy, but I'm being real with you because they mean nothing to me, but you are important to me. So I want you to know how I really feel, I guess. But then is that fair to you?
That's exactly what came to me. I was conflicted because I understood exactly what she was saying. And then, of course, I tried to put myself in that position. And I do. I am that person, especially at work. There's always a smile. There's always a greeting here and there and small talk. And they get the best of us. They get the best of me. And I acknowledge that. And then when I go to the other side of it and, okay, why can't I bring that home? My loved ones deserve that more so than general people deserve it. And I agree with that too. But I feel like I want to give them the true me because I want my loved ones to give me their true selves. So I want the smiles when they're having a good day, but I'm also okay with that vent session when somebody has pissed them off as well. So although I get it, I understand it, and I see where she's coming from, but also I feel like I want all of them.
Right.
Because I don't want the fakery.
Right. Right. I want you to feel, because I feel like I only give the real me to people that I'm comfortable with. So
right.
I want you to do the same for me. Give me the real you. So if you want to come home and you had a really bad day and you want to tell me about it, then that makes me feel like, okay, we're there, because he feels
I'm on the
comfortable
inside.
enough. Right. He feels comfortable enough to tell me everything that's going on. What I don't want you to do, and what I know that we all have a tendency to do, is because we can't tell the people at work all the time how we really feel about them, or when they tick us off or piss us off, we really can't show that real emotion that we want to. Then we come home and your significant other gets it because I couldn't give it to them at work. You know, that's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to bring it home so negative that now it's causing issues in our relationship because you weren't able to express that to the person who really deserved it. So now you come home and give it to me. That's what I don't want. And that's what I know. I've done it before, not purposely, but I know that I've done it before because I'm angry with somebody at work and I can't express myself the way I want to. Then as soon as somebody says something at home, I fly off. So
I was thinking about it. Coming home and maybe having a vent session is okay, because when we're doing that, we are not directing that anger or that attitude or that negative emotion towards our loved ones at home.
Right.
We are expressing what happened during the day. And it may have been something that ticked us off. But if we're having that vent session, we're basically telling them what we had to deal with that day.
Right.
So I feel like maybe she was not saying that that's not okay.
Right.
I don't think that when I think about it, I don't think that she was denouncing that. I think it may have been on the other side of it is, don't come home and, like you just said, and give me the attitude because you couldn't give it to the man on the job.
Right. Be respectful of me and give me that same energy and respect that you gave him. Give it to me. You know, give me that. And that's where I think the issues come in. If I'm just come home and venting and saying, hey, can you believe so-and-so said this at work and then I said that and blah, blah, blah. And here's what I really wanted to say to him. And then you kind of laugh and joke and that person makes it better, or, you know, walks you through it or whatever, helps you figure out how you can go back to that person respectfully and say what you wanted to say. But when you bring that negative energy that you wanted to put on them and put it on me, then that's where we have a problem. And I'm hoping that that's what she was saying is, you know, give it to me.
And to go into that, when you bring it home and you put it on me in the form of, if I ask you a question, you bite my head off.
Right.
And it could be a simple question. It could be, what do you want for dinner? Or it could be, how was your day? And you attack me or you yell at me and it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And I think that is more along the lines of where it was coming from.
Right.
And then, of course, I had to put myself in that situation. And I think I've talked about it before. I've, over the past few years, really evolved. And that is not something that I would do today. The person that I am today, that is not something that I would do at all. Years ago, yeah, I could see that.
Right.
Not who I am today.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I think, I don't think that's something that I would do today, right now, because I'm aware of that situation. I've been in that situation before. So I'm aware of that situation. what I would do is, if I know that I'm not in a good place when I'm on my way home, I stop by the thrift store, I stop by the grocery store, so that I can let it release a little bit before I get home.
Taking it home.
And, and I know that the least little thing could, send me over the edge. And usually that helps. Like if I just stop and get my mind, or I may call you and talk about just mindless stuff, then usually that kind of eases the tension. And then by the time I get home, I've forgot all about the situation. But I will say, this new Cindy usually will let the people at work know almost exactly what I'm thinking. And so I usually don't have to bring it home because I leave it right there where it sits. What I have learned...
And I must say, I've gotten to that point as well. I am a lot more vocal at work now than I have been in the past, because years ago I would internalize and I would bring it home, because it's always a fear of saying too much.
Right.
And especially for us, that fear of being labeled the angry Black woman that we have to deal with, that I constantly deal with. And I used to not say stuff that I should have said or maybe needed to say, definitely wanted to say, because I didn't want that negative connotation put on me.
Right.
But now I say it in the most respectful manner that I can get out. I say it and then I'm done with it.
And usually there's respectful ways to say it. It's just before I didn't know how to say it respectfully, and I knew it was going to come out all wrong. So, but now I use ways to say it respectfully. A lot of times I put it in writing so there's no confusion, like per our previous conversation or something like, so that you can understand that you have ticked me off, but I'm still going to be professional about the whole situation.
And you know what I found in doing that, and I know we're kind of veering off a little bit, but that's okay. I found that in doing that, it's very important because you let people know who you are and where you are.
Exactly.
And that also, it let people know how to approach you and how to deal with you going forward. Because if we don't speak up, if we don't speak our mind, if we don't tell our truths, then people will feel like they have an edge and they can walk all over us. But once we do that, and in most cases, we only have to really do it one time. And people understand what they're dealing with, and then they deal with you accordingly.
Absolutely. You tell people how to treat you. And just like we have this stigma of angry Black women, I always feel like when I'm checking somebody professionally, not only am I doing it for me, but I'm doing it for all the so-called angry Black women at work. Like, see, we can check you. And we can check you in a very professional way.
Very professional way.
What happens is I can check you, and Becky, who sits right in the office next to me, she can check you, and we can do it the same way, but you'll call me angry.
It will be perceived
differently. And Becky
differently.
is assertive, and she goes for what she wants, you know. And so if I do it in a professional manner, then I can show you that I'm a Black woman, I'm smart, I do my job, and I can check you and put you back in your place without ever cursing you or yelling or being disrespectful, so
I wholeheartedly agree with that. The clip that came across, I was like, okay, you know what? I never really thought about it in that way.
Right.
And this was my first time hearing the clip, but it's obviously a very old clip.
Right.
I'm not sure what brought it back up at this particular time, but it was refreshing to hear. Right. And it did give us a different perspective on what she was saying and how we are. And the other good thing to know and to realize is, even though it was done way back then and we're just hearing it now, we are past what she was saying.
Right. Right.
So it's good to be able to see, okay, the person that I was then and where we're going and the maturity that we get to.
Right.
Because I think we both said, back in the day, I would come home and probably be a terror, and nobody would want to deal with me. But you get to a place where you basically better, you do better.
Right. And I think it, like you said, it's like an evolution, because you have so much going on at work sometimes. And not only do we have the weight of work, but then we have the weight of, okay, I don't want to say this the wrong way, because I really have the weight of the whole Black community on my back. Because if I clown, these people, then they'll never want to hire another Black person. Because remember when we had Cindy and she clowned us and she acted a fool in here? So you have that whole thing on you. So sometimes, when you come home, you still have that on your back. So the first person that you see is your significant other, or for me, I don't have any kids in the house, but, vegan bae. So in order to preserve my relationship, though, I know better now, and I realize it more. So that's why I stop by the thrift store, stop by the grocery store, make a phone call or something, so that I can
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Making that stop and getting their energy off of you, because you don't want that energy in the house. You don't want it to spill over into the relationship. So that's a positive way to do it. One that I hadn't really thought about. I'm usually just trying to get to the house.
Yeah.
When I get off work. But
absolutely.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to do, to not bring the negativity into the house. I can appreciate that.
And I'm all about, in my later years, all about energy and mixing energy or whatever. And especially in my house, I don't like anybody that I feel like you bring in some type of negative energy in here. You don't get invited to my household. That's why I don't invite a lot of coworkers over and that kind of stuff, because I don't want that energy in my house. We have to mix that energy at work because I have to be there, but you don't have to be in my sanctuary, So that's what I started thinking. If I bring this home, I'm bringing this negative energy in our house, and it's not only going to spread on me, but it's definitely going to spread on him. And now we got all this negative energy that we have to get rid of. So I release it at the thrift store or wherever, and then I come home and
perfect place to release that.
Yeah.
That was a good conversation on the clip with Nikki Giovanni, and
yes.
I'm sure we will hopefully get some feedback on that, and everybody can let us know their take on it, and if they agree or disagree, or if they've evolved from one place to the next on that.
Yes.
And now we're going to go into our what Ratchet recap.
Yay.
This week we are recapping those Atlanta housewives.
Okie dokie.
And their trip to Japan.
Yes. Yeah, they were in Japan. Yeah.
They did. But you know what? Before they got to Japan, and I think there were like 2 episodes going on there, so I might be combining the 2. But before the trip, when is her name Tanya or Tanya?
Tanya, I think. Tanya.
Maybe. When she and Eva were having the hibachi dinner to announce the trip to everyone, and this is when Candy and Portia got into it.
Right.
I'm just loving. Can I just tell you, I'm loving Portia right now?
Yes.
When they got into it, and Cynthia was saying, because Cynthia said in one of her confessions, she was like, okay, Portia needs to kind of calm down because she is pregnant. And in the clip, you can see where Cynthia reached over to touch Portia to try to calm her down. And Portia was like, no, let me finish. Because she was going to get out what she was trying to say. And I don't feel like she was being disrespectful when she said that. And just to give a little light on that, this is when the backlash from Portia being put out of Todd's birthday party. And she was just basically saying, Portia was, if your friend has been put out of your event and your friend calls you to tell you, like, you don't have a minute for your friend?
Right.
And then she even went a step further and said, and I get if she was busy at the time, but days later, even after the backlash and the blogs, she still didn't hear from her. And it was just basically, that's not what a friend would do.
Right. Especially if we're repairing our relationship and it's still kind of sticky to the touch, I might okay, I'm busy writing these few minutes, but I might step off for 2 minutes and just text you and say, hey girl, I'm sorry. Let me find out what happened. Can I call you tomorrow?
And Portia would have been fine with that because she was saying it's days later she never heard from Candy.
Right. See, because my feeling of it, and can I say I'm not really feeling Candy this season because she's been
not at all
uber messy. Like she's just been extra messy. And I thought for her to let Don Juan or whatever his name is, let him basically throw her out or whoever threw Portia out. The people who work for me, no matter how friendly we are, whatever, or my girlfriends, I'm not going to come to your party and throw one of your friends out. That's between you and them. Now, what I will say is, hey, can you, this is Sonya's party. Can you be respectful or whatever? And then if I feel like she's being super disrespectful, I'm going to pull you to a side and say, hey, Sonya, Portia's over here acting a fool. How do you want me to handle it? Because I know you're busy. How do you want me to handle it? But ultimately, this is your decision. So they should have gone to Candy and said, hey, this is what's happening. And Candy was...
I don't know that they didn't go to her. And she just gave them the okay to do what they needed to do, handle it how they wanted to handle it. But just like you said, you wouldn't allow that to happen to a friend. The other ladies pretty much said the same thing. Cynthia said the same thing. Nene said the same thing. They're not going to have their employees treat their friends that way. And granted, we have to acknowledge the fact that these are more than Candy's employees. These are friends of hers. But if Portia was a friend enough for you to invite her, then she should have been a friend enough for you not to allow her to be treated that way.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think Candy was just being messy across the board. Like all of the talking, you trying to rekindle your friendship with Portia, but yet you see how...
I don't think she's really trying to rekindle
I think you're right. I think you're right because she sees how this relationship, what it means to Portia. But she's still trying to tear it down any way that she can get, just little tidbits about him. Oh, well, he have tattoos of a bunch of different women, or he does blah, blah, blah. Or the people at the people who work for me said that his ex-girlfriend was there and he was flirting with her. Like, why would you do this to a friend? Right. This is somebody that you're
but
with.
I think throughout all of that, Portia is handling herself very well.
I think so too.
And I think that she is getting Candy all the way together very well.
Yep.
I like it a lot. And I applaud her on that. And to go a little bit further into Portia, what about when she called Eva out at the table? Because remember, Eva, when they were having the dinner, Eva started out by saying, we wanted to have this because we know when we went to Destin, some people got rubbed the wrong way. Like when Tanya said the thing about the high-low and said that the sunglasses from Swag Boutique was on the low end. Okay, first of all, why are you bringing up what Tanya did? Can't she do that herself? You should have started with what you did, which was not inviting Nene to your first getaway.
Right.
So when she was saying that, Portia says, girl, Eva, you talk about other people shading. You remember what everybody else do, but you don't remember when you shading people. And Portia brought up when Eva was shading Cynthia.
Right.
And Eva denied that she said anything shady about Cynthia. Seriously?
And I was like, Portia being a little shady herself by
I was okay with it at that moment. I was okay with it.
Right. But she didn't lie though. Because Eva is shady and then she puts that deer in the headlight look like, what? Me shady? Right. No, I don't don't have a shady bone in my body. Seriously,
But, and you
girl,
know,
that's like me saying I'm not petty. Like,
right.
come on.
But you know, like you do with your pettiness, you'll say, you know what, I'm petty. I told you the other day about a situation. I'm having a petty moment, and this is what I did. I'm working on it. But so that's exactly what the ladies said. They said, girl, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. We all do it.
Right.
But when you do it, own it. Yeah. You know what? I was being shady, or I was being whatever. Own it and then keep it moving.
And a lot of times with it, you can laugh it off. Like when you called the other day and said, oh, I'm having a shady moment. Here's what I did. We laughed it off. It was no big deal. Like, I will let you know that I'm being shady. I mean, petty. I can be petty. And I let people know from the giddy up, hey, I can be petty sometimes. And if you call me on it and say, hey, I feel like do you think that might be a little petty moment? Most of the time I can say, probably so, you know.
Yeah. And you know what? It happens. Own it and move on.
And then just but for her to say, I don't have a shady bone in my body, when you've been throwing shade from like the first episode you were on there, you've been throwing shade. So stop it. And
did you notice her eyelashes in her confessional?
I didn't pay attention. I'll be looking at her like, oh, you talking about the little bottom eyelash stuff she had? She
had them on the bottom. Yes. It was so distracting to me. And I was just thinking of a baby doll or something. It's like, okay. They were a little long for the bottom, I thought.
And one other thing about Eva, and mind you, I liked her from when she was on America's Next Top Model. I rooted for her to win, and I was so happy when she did win. But I don't know.
Same here, but I'm good on her now.
Well, but she talked about Shamari can't dress and all that. Really, honest and truly, I haven't seen but maybe like one outfit since she been on there that I was like, oh, she really looks nice. Like, most of the stuff, she looks like a broke hippie to me most of the time. Like, it's not that she dresses super cute or, you know, whatever. Like, she laughing at Shamari. You not much better, if at all better. Like, I mean, Shamari looks decent to me.
Better
you know, she looks decent. Yeah. She's not like a...
And I think the thing is, I think Eva thinks that she's making a statement with her fashion.
Yeah, she's making a statement.
But Shamari is more of, hey, you're everyday girl. This is me. This is what I do. I'm not doing anything differently because I'm filming this show.
Right.
This is me. This is what's in my closet. This is how I rock.
Right.
And that's her. I think Eva is trying to, you know, do a little too much with hers. And sometimes in doing that, she's going wrong.
And I think so too, because Cynthia kind of dresses really simple most of the time. You see her, she has on some kind of Converses or, you know, something like that. And she's pretty casual unless they're going out somewhere or something. And I like the way she dressed. I didn't have a problem the way
because Cynthia can very easily dress it up or dress it down. And I like her style.
Me too.
Eva, I can't really get with.
No, she always looks like a hippie that didn't quite have enough money. And she just...
Right.
Yeah, she always looks... Like you said, Shamari looks like an everyday girl. She doesn't look like a label whore. Even Cynthia, and she probably has enough money that she could get her several labels or whatever. But she looks like, most of the time, like a average woman who dresses nice. You know, she looks comfortable and she looks fun, you know, to me. She doesn't look, to be honest, and I like Nene most of the time, but sometimes Nene's stuff just looks gaudy and extra, you know.
Sometimes she does a lot, and she loves the long flowy pieces. She loves the robes and the ponchos or the long robe like jacket. I like those too though, and those do well with tall people.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes hers is a little bit far out there.
Yeah. Now I like those. I have a couple of those. But like you said, they do a little bit better sometimes with taller people because unless I wear my heels, which I do 99% of the time, they drag the ground for me. So
Yeah, I like those. I have a few pieces, and I like those. So whenever I see Nene with something like that on, it's like, yeah, that's a thumbs up for me.
yeah, I like
And you know what? Speaking of Nene, let's go into Nene and Greg and the role that Nene is playing as caretaker, and the toll that it can take on somebody who is put in that position to be the caretaker of a loved one.
right. So I was just a little frustrated. Let me use the word conflicted again, because she seemed very frustrated by how Greg is acting lately, because I guess he might be angry, and they showed him with the chef, and he was kind of abrupt with the chef about she wasn't a vegan chef, but he wanted to eat a vegan diet. And he just seemed like he was a little more on edge, and Nene seemed like that was taking a toll on her, and she was in turn responding with anger back to him, so it was causing friction between them. I kind of understand both ways. Like, I guess it's really hard to deal with somebody when they're dealing with that and their response to you is anger. But it's also really hard to be a caretaker of somebody who's sick, especially when it's nothing you can do.
I agree. And I wasn't conflicted on that. Greg, I feel bad for everything that he's going through, but he was being an ass.
Right.
And, that goes back to the clip that we played earlier with Nikki Giovanni, giving that loved one, that person who's there, basically your ass to kiss. I think that he was doing the most. And I understand it's very difficult to go through a sickness and to have to deal with that. But I have been placed in that role to be the caretaker,
right,
of someone. And it was very difficult.
Right.
And she would get very angry and say stuff. And it's like, okay, but I don't have to do this.
Right.
I don't have to be here. And that's what they, have to understand. And I can see both sides of it, but it's just not acceptable. Regardless of what you're going through, treating someone that way is unacceptable. And I think Nene basically said the same thing. You're being mean. She was happy for her trip because she was just not feeling him, because he was being very difficult and he was very rude.
Right.
To the chef.
Right. He was extremely rude. And I think what got it for me is he seems to be better right now and experiencing a high right now. And so this is especially the time where you don't get to be an ass, because
right.
It's not like we're in the hospital and you're sick or whatever, and you're probably upset and angry about how life is going right now. You're going pretty good. And especially for the chef, she's here to help you, And okay, right. So she's not a vegan chef, but she can cook vegan food. And at least while you're sitting in front of her, give her the respect to hear her out. And then, okay, if you decide later that she can't do what you need her to do, then you give her a call and say, we're going in a different direction. But I thought he was being really rude. But I guess I was trying to understand how it is to deal with, an illness or a sickness like that. And I'm sure you go through a lot of different emotions when you're dealing with something like that, like happy, sad, angry, all of it, depressed, and all of it.
And I agree. Things. I just think that they have to be cognizant of the fact that the person that you're shitting on and you're giving a hard time is a person that's there loving on you and taking care of you.
Right.
And probably because there are not a whole lot of other people that's going to do it. And keep in mind, if that person was to walk out the door,
right,
what would you do?
Exactly. Yeah, it was hard to watch because, when my mom was ill, she was in a different state. So I didn't deal with it every day. But
it's very difficult dealing with the day-to-day. It's
I'm
very
sure.
difficult.
And that's what I was thinking, just for the talking to her every day, but not seeing it every day. It was a lot for me just doing that. So I can imagine having that person there every day and talking to you that way or whatever. I would need a break. I needed a break, and we lived in different states, and I needed a break because it seemed like I could do nothing right for her, and I still had to remember that she was dealing with something, but it was just
right. And imagine dealing with that on the phone, but imagine how it would be being there in the present, and especially if it's a situation where there are things that you physically had to do for that person. You physically had to care for that person.
Oh yeah.
And they're just giving you a hard time. They're just giving you grief, but you can't walk out. You want to, and sometimes you might, but you have to come back.
Right. Right. That would,
it's just something that you have to deal with.
That would be hard. That would definitely be hard. So yeah,
but I do think that he's in a better place. Like you said, I think he's in a better place now. And again, we're seeing episodes that were recorded previously. So hopefully things have turned around and things are a lot better in the Leaks household.
Yes. Because I do like them. I like Nene. I like Greg. I was glad when they got back together. I was very sad to hear that he had cancer. And now, like you said, at least on the episodes that we're watching right now, it seems like he might be on the upside of the cancer. He's doing some holistic things that he feels comfortable with. So hopefully, that is working out for him and for both of them.
Yeah.
Because cancer affects the whole
best
family.
Wishes and
so
it does. And best wishes and happy health to Greg.
Yes.
Was there anything else on the Atlanta Housewives you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, just that I'm really liking Portia, and I'm ready to for her to have her baby because she seems so excited on Instagram.
PJ.
Yes.
PJ.
Yes, I'm ready for her.
I think we're all waiting for PJ.
Yeah, because she seems so excited on Instagram. And just one last note. Did you see Kenya for her 50th? Was it her 50th birthday or 49th birthday?
I did.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I think 48. I was so excited to see. And I was really excited to see pictures of the baby when she had the baby because, initially people said she wasn't pregnant. And then I was like, she's been pregnant forever.
Right.
But she finally had the baby. Gorgeous baby. Love the baby. And she seems to be really, really happy. And I'm really, really happy for her because that's something that she's really wanted.
Right. And that's what that goes back to, just for a second, goes back to what Kandi and Portia, like if you see that that's something that somebody's wanted for so long and they're finally getting it, why mess it up for them? Like, unless he's out here mistreating her and whatever, then let her be. Let her have her fun.
The whole issue with that is it would be different if they were friends.
Right.
And she was telling, if Portia and Kandi were friends and Kandi was giving this information, looking out for her girl, that would be one thing. But they're clearly not friends.
Right.
And Kandi is not disclosing this information to help Portia. She's just being messy.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's all I have for them.
Well, that takes care of this week's conversation with Nikki Giovanni and our Ratchet recap. We will see you guys, or you guys will hear us next week. Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to share your comments or let us know what you think about the episode, please email us at whatlikeink@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at What We Like.
Make sure that you guys are doing what you like this week.
Because we'll definitely be doing what we like. Bye.
Bye.